From Hollywood, we present Bride and Groom. With your master of ceremonies, John Nelson.
Thank you very much, folks.
The Bride and Groom Show was a real popular show with young couples, and a lot of people wanted to get on it. Of course, they could, for 5 days a week, they couldn't get everybody that would like to have been on it, so I felt real fortunate to be chosen. It was on ABC, and it was on the radio at the time.
Oh, it was very popular at that time. It was one of the most listened to programs, I think, on the radio.
I just remember thinking it was very special because, you know, at that time, there was no TV. So we listened to the radio programs, and everyone would have their ears glued to the radio, you know, watch or to listen to Bride and Groom or Queen for a Day.
It was a big deal, I think, in those days for young couples to be able to have an opportunity to get married on the Bride and Groom Show, you know, and it was quite a thing for the families, you know, that were involved in that. And
Well, I really wasn't into that Bride and Groom Show much. I never had time to look at the radio or TV. It was radio, I guess, mostly. But she was working up there in L.A., and some of her girlfriends got on it, and so she made the application, and she wasn't got us on there. I didn't know much about it at all.
I moved to Los Angeles and was working for Burroughs Adding Machine Company. And one of the ladies that worked for Burroughs Adding Machine Company was got on TV on the Bride and Groom program. So I asked her how she managed to get on the program. She said, well, I wrote in a letter, and they accepted my letter and said, well, you want to get married a certain time. The Bride and Groom program was like 5 days a week and 30 minutes each day. And you only had a certain amount of people to come into the studio. It was held at the Chapman Park Hotel in Los Angeles. So I wrote the letter in of how we met and of our courtship and everything. So they read it and called me back and said we could be on Bride and Groom. And so we went down and talked to them about being on the program, and they said, well, this certain day was open in October. So we decided, well, that was okay with us.
Well, I thought it was a pretty cheap way to go. Wouldn't have to be out no honeymoon, no clothes or anything else.
Here's to the bride and groom on their joyous wedding day. Let's toast the lucky pair, start them on their way. We wish them every happiness today.
Thank you and good afternoon. It's a beautiful autumn day in Southern California as we greet you once again from our bride and groom wedding party gathered in the old Morocco room of the Chapman Park Hotel. You know, photographs are really wonderful things, and I'm positive that the attractive brunette bride we'll meet very shortly will most certainly agree. For it was while she was looking through a girlfriend's photo album that she first saw her groom-to-be. But as he was serving with the forces in Germany, their meeting was somewhat delayed. How they met and how the groom's sister assisted in this interesting love story will be told by our charming young couple just before they leave us to go out through the archway of trees to the privacy of the little stone chapel on the edge of the sun-filled garden to be united in marriage.
My friend and I, when we graduated from high school, decided to go to California. She had sisters out there, and I had brothers and a sister out there. And I got a job working at the shipyards. And I worked there, and for recreation, I decided to go to the Hippodrome in Long Beach to skate. And my cousin moved back to Oklahoma. So then there was no one to stay with except Ken's sister, so I stayed with her on the weekends and we went skating. And he came home after he was discharged out of service, and I met him there. And he went skating with us a few times. I really didn't think about going with him a whole lot. I thought he was nice looking, and he was real loving and caring to his mother and his sister.
So, and I thought he was the cutest thing that I had ever seen, and I could see why Mattie fell for him. He was also a big tease.
And I went into service, and I was 3 years, and when I come back, why, Mickey was my wife. She was buddying with my sister, Billy. I thought she was a nice-looking girl. And I didn't give it much thought. I really didn't even try to date her or anything. I had a buddy in the service. He came out when I had, and we was running all over L.A. just messing around. You know, I don't even know where we had a date the first time or not. It just kind of led into it. I was taking him to the skating rink all the time, and I guess I went skating with him. I don't know. I don't even remember the first date.
The first time I ever saw him is I went to his sister's to go skating with her, and he had just come in from service, and he had a buddy friend that was in the Navy, and he and his wife had come to their house, and they all three went out together, and I thought, oh, I wonder who he's going to get to go with them. They were going out to a show or to Long Beach at that time they had a pike that people went to. It had a dance place, it had rides, it had all sorts of things, and I just wondered who was going to go with him. I thought, well, he's nice looking. I didn't know who he'd pick up, you know, but I wasn't invited to go at that time because he didn't know me very well.
First, I was running around with Mickey's cousin. She was my best girlfriend all through the 10th grade. And then once in a while, she would come over and stay all night at Pat's house. And so I met her like that. And then when Pat moved to Oklahoma at the end of of her 10th grade, well, then Mickey started coming to my house to spend the night. And then it was a while before we met Joe. Because when I started school, the 11th grade, first day of school, I met Joe. And we just clicked off just like that, and we became best friends. So she was my girlfriend during the week, and then Mickey would come and spend the night on Saturday night, sometimes Friday and Saturday night. So she was my weekend girlfriend. And then pretty soon we all got together because we were always skating at the skating rink, and that was our big thing. Well, they have a different tale for this, but this is the way I remember it. We were just giggling around in the living room one Sunday afternoon, and on the chest of drawers there was a picture of my brothers that were in the service, and they got to giggling around. They said, oh, I'm going to take this one. And the other one said, well, I like him. I'm going to take him, you know. And so they did just that. You know, when they got home from the service, why, they just, Joe was at my house, and she stayed till after dark, because Bob got home maybe, I don't know, like late afternoon, 3 or 4 o'clock or something, you know. Well, she's supposed to be home by dark. She stayed, and she stayed too late, and then she asked Bob if he'd drive her home. She didn't waste any time at all. But Kenny and Mickey were a little slower.
Well, Billy had met Mickey first, and she was her best girlfriend, and then I met Billy because I went to school with Billy, same grade. And then I met Mickey because she was a friend of Billy, and then when Billy had showed me a picture of Bob, and I says, I want to meet him. So I met him one day, and we started going together and got married 3 months later. Well, I first met Kenneth when Mickey started coming to Billy's on weekends. Then we'd all go to the beach. Then we'd all come home and play Monopoly all day. And so I met him then.
Well, we'd been going together over a year, and He proposed to me, I guess it was when we were dating and going to a show. And when we got out of the show and went, he was taking me home that night. He wanted to know if I would marry him. And I didn't really answer right then. I waited a while. But I felt like he was the only one that I could really feel comfortable with and trust and love him. And he loved me.
You know, I don't even know where we had a date the first time or not. It just kind of led into it. I was taking him to the skating rink all the time, and I guess I went skating with him. I don't know that I don't even remember the first date. I'd taken her home to her brother's over there in La Harbor, which was about 20 miles, I guess.
Okay, do you remember when you proposed to her?
No.
Okay.
I guess she done the proposing.
First time you two been alone together?
Yes.
What did you talk about?
Oh, I better take over from here.
You're going to take over.
Sure, see. So I started home, and then I'd lock myself out of the car, and I'd have to break a little wing.
Girl, 18 months before you proposed?
Sure.
Well, no, but I mean, that's unusual when you love a girl to keep courting 18 months. Where were you when he proposed to you, Matty?
Huntington Beach,
You were maybe parked there?
maybe.
Wait a minute, were you in the car?
No, we was on the beach, see, we went swimming. She doesn't swim very much. I was trying to teach her to
night or
swim.
day?
Day.
Daytime, and you're teaching her to swim.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so she wouldn't get out in the water. She was afraid of water. I got her raft. I thought maybe she could get on a raft, get used to the water. And she got up there. She was afraid, see. So I asked her to marry me.
How did you ask her?
Just like that.
You were sitting on the raft and you
No, she was sitting on the raft, rubber raft.
And you were pushing the raft, swimming?
No, they're just sitting there. We forgot all about the raft.
You had something else on your mind. How did you say it, Ken?
I said, will you marry me?
Yes.
She didn't say she didn't say it right then.
How long did she keep you waiting?
Well, Baker came in, spelled her.
Well, did you have to fish her out of the water?
I sure did.
And when you fished her out, then she gave you the answer?
No, sir.
No?
No, not then. She got her hair wet.
Well, a girl can't accept a proposal with her hair wet, naturally. When did she answer you?
That night.
That very night?
Yeah.
Well,
We left the beach, see, and went for a drive.
Did you ask her all over again?
I asked her all over again.
How did you ask her the second time?
I told her to forget the first time.
Forget the first time, but what?
Would she marry me?
No, I mean, for then.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's a very nice proposal. If it hadn't been for that breaker, you'd have been engaged a whole hour or two earlier.
About 5 or 6.
But 5...
Yes, he gave me an engagement ring. Not at that time, but later. He gave me, he always had surprises. The first gift he gave me was a watch, and he wrapped it in a huge box, loaded it down with books and all sorts of things to throw me off, because so I wouldn't guess what it was. But he didn't do the engagement ring that way. But he did the watch that he gave me, the first gift he gave me.
What was the gist?
My dad was really happy. Of course, he had 10 kids, so he was happy, and any of them got married and got away from home. So Mom had very little to say about it. She said, well, I know that if it's Matta Rose, Kenny will be a good man for her, and that's about all I know about it. Although her and Kenny got along all the years that she lived, it was quite marvelous, because every time Kenny would tell her anything, she wouldn't believe it. So one time we was down in Ventura and going to go up to San Jose to visit the folks and leave my mother up there with the rest of my brothers and sisters. She says, Kenny, she put my suitcase in. She says, no, Mary, I didn't put it in. And so we got on to San Jose. She says, Kenny, you're kidding me. Where's my suitcase? She said, Mary, I told you I didn't put it in. So sure enough, she got up there and didn't have a suitcase, so we had to ship it up to her
And stuff like that went on all the time that she lived. And she really enjoyed all her son-in-laws, daughter-in-laws, and her kids. Oh, I worked for the fence company a little while and went back to Oklahoma. I heard they was going to get married, so we talked it over, and my dad said, well, I'll tell you what. I said, I can't go. I said, well, I can't either. We're just all tied up here on the farm and had a store. So that morning that they were going to get married on the radio, he got up and took a bath, shaved, put on clean clothes, and the neighbor said, hey, Talbert, what are you going to do? He said, I got a girl that's out in California getting married on the radio today, and I'm ready for it. So I'm second in line, so Matta Rose was quite a ways down, so Helen and I helped raise her, see that she got through high school, and on out to California, where most of us wound up, got married out there. And we've been in touch with them ever since.
My own father and mother lived in Poto, Oklahoma, and they couldn't attend. And my other brothers and sisters, some of them lived in other parts of California, and not all of my family could attend. Just the one brother and his wife and my sister that was in the wedding and her husband. And my dad, they said, they thought he went in and decided, well, he was going to the wedding, and they said, you're not going to the wedding. What are you getting so dressed up about? He put on his suit and tie and his good clothes like he was going to church. And he said, I'm going to attend the wedding. So he sat down by the radio to watch the wedding, and they all kidded him about it. And he said, well, I'm going to the wedding. When I heard that, it was very special to me to think that he would really feel a part of it. Well, they were quite excited. A lot of the friends and all of them couldn't attend. Oh, they felt like I was a celebrity. And it was real nice. They all treated me real nice and everything, but they said they would get radios to where they worked and listen to it, which several of them did. And the family, several people in Poto, I'm sure my relatives, I have a lot of them there, and they listened to it over the radio too.
I had an apartment in L.A. It was one room. And my brother was the best man, and her sister was the best woman. What do you call it? Bridesmaid. And so we had to go to this hotel. We went down there at that hotel, and I never will forget the minister. He would take us inside in a little room, and he told us, now, I said, this is going to be an awful abbreviated wedding. He said, we just got so many minutes to get it done. But it's very important and a very serious step you're taking. And he told us what it was all about. And he said, I will skip a lot of this, but said it's in there, and you agreed to it and all this. And of course we agreed to it. So they started the program.
Well, I heard about it, and I didn't think much about it because he insisted I was going to be the best man, and that's not what I do best. I mean, I might be best at a lot of things, but I ain't no best man. And I didn't know what was expected of me, and I didn't really want to go, but I thought maybe I ought to. So my whole life's been governed by what I thought I ought to do, and that's not always what's right.
We have for the bride her beautiful bouquet designed to match her costume by Mr. John Patrick Bush, from the Spoil Arts of Beverly Hills. The bride bouquet is an arm arrangement of white double ranunculus tied with ivory satin ribbon and showered with paper white narcissus. The inserted corsage made of split pink carnations. The attendance bouquet is also an arm effect. Contains a lavender and pink sweet peas, maidenhair fern, and a pink bow. I might tell you what everybody's laughing at is the fact that Jack brought the groom a towel to mop his forehead with. He was perspiring. And you?
I'm Mrs. Bernice Barton of San Jose, sister of the bride.
I see. How long have you been married, Miss Barton?
4 years in January.
Oh, grand. And you, sir, the best man?
I'm Harvey Williams from Long Beach, the groom's brother.
Oh, I see. Uh-huh. And are you married?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you are. Good. How long?
A year and 3 months.
I missed that. A year?
3 months and 11 days.
Any minutes?
Well, I wouldn't be sure about that.
You wouldn't be sure about that. We have for the best man the Bride's Wedding Band, and it's a beautiful art-carved ring from the J.R. Wood Company. It has 7 perfect blue-white diamonds in an exquisite mounting, designed by the craftsman of J.R. Youngman. Put that in your pocket, sir. And for the bridesmaid...
Well, one of the things that made him real nervous is Billy slept late that day and made me a little bit late getting there because I picked her up. And they were beginning to think I was going to blow the whole thing, but I didn't. Well, no, I remember the MC, and I don't remember what his name was. He was talking real fast, and he'd come over to me, and he says, how long have you been married? And I told him exactly, and he thought that was funny. I told him I'd been married a year and 2 months and 9 days and 3 hours and 21 minutes. Now, I don't know if that was exactly right or not, but he cut me off real short right there. He didn't think that was funny.
Well, I am Mickey's oldest sister, and I remember very vividly when she came to California, and she came to stay with me and my brother and his wife, and she and I were good buddies. We did a lot of things together, and I really enjoyed her. Well, she'd asked me to be her bridesmaid. It was so exciting and such a special day that a lot of that has just kind of skipped by. I just remember what a beautiful bride she made.
Tell me, do you remember anything about the dress?
I do. It was a beautiful pink taffeta dress, and she hand made it, and I thought I looked gorgeous. And I don't know what my sister thought, because she was a beautiful bride.
I'm Maddie's sister, the one closest to her, and we grew up very close together. We're about 2 years apart. And when she graduated from high school and left to work in California, I thought I would die. I missed her so badly. But a couple of years, I got over that. And for graduation from high school, my gift was a trip to California from my sister, Maddie. So I came out and spent the summer of '46 with Maddie and my other sister that had already come to California earlier. She says, Nancy, I had asked my oldest sister, B, to be bridesmaid or my matron of honor since she was married, because I didn't know you were coming. And she said, then my older sister, B, says, well, you be her matron of honor because you two are so close. And I said, I'll not hear of it because you have already made plans for her to be the matron of honor. So I said, I will make her dress for her. I thought I was a seamstress. I don't know why I got the nerve to do that, but I did. I made this dress for her that I wouldn't even do today if I had had it to do over, but I did make my sister B's maid of honor dress to wear to Maddie's wedding, and it fit, thank goodness, perfectly. So we went down from where we were living in San Jose to Southern California to go to the wedding. And it worked out just beautifully. Maddie was a beautiful bride, and the usual little snafus happened of doing things, teasing each other, and just had a wonderful time at the wedding. They were gorgeous. She and Kenny were just beautiful, and the MC was John Nelson, I believe, and the man that sang was Jack McElroy, and it was just a perfect, beautiful day, and he sings so beautifully, and just a perfect day, and the program was great. They had people fill the audience, of course. Lots of them she didn't know, but a lot she did, and it was just a wonderful day, and I have really great memories of how great her and Kenny looked.
And the name of your love song?
Some Sunday morning.
Some Sunday morning? Well, that's what it'll be. As our bride and groom go down the aisle now and out through the lovely gardens of the Chapman Park Hotel to the Old World Chapel where their clergyman waits, their friends and family. Jack McElroy sings their love song. Some Sunday morning
bells will be chiming an old melody, especially for someone and me. There'll be an organ playing, friends and relations will stare. Say, can't you hear them saying, gee, what a piece of a pear. Some Sunday morning we'll walk down the aisle. She'll be so nervous and I'll try to smile. Things sure look rosy for someone and me. Some Sunday morning you'll see.
Thank you, Jack McElroy. Thank you, Gaylord Carter. Very well done.
And so we ran to the chapel to get married, and it was so fast, your ceremony was so fast that you thought, am I really married?
We went outside the church, had a chapel out there, and they explained to us before we ever started there'd be somebody that'd hold her train up, she went out, and we'd be running, and there wouldn't be nobody in the way. And the photographer, he'd taken our pictures and running out that, and he was there in the chapel too, he was running. And we wasn't out there just a little while. I mean, it's just really brief. And then he come back in, and while he was going, I think they sang our songs about all they'd done. They probably had a commercial. That's how fast it was.
That was a happy day when we heard about it. We all gathered around the little old radio that they had. And she sent pictures, beautiful pictures of her and him and his brother, Bob. He was a handsome man. But we was glad to hear their voice, and we can imagine how they looked and everything. Well, they thought that was something special, and we had Mara and I had a little store, a little grocery store, and she put Maddie's book, about the wedding, and told everybody that came in, they got to see it. It was something special for that little old town.
Gave us gifts on that show. They gave us wedding pictures. They furnished my wedding gown. They gave us each a ring. They gave us a trip to Las Vegas on our honeymoon. They gave me a set of silverware, some wool of the West blankets, a radio phonograph, and a Max Factor makeup kit, several items that they gave us.
I don't remember too much about them. We've got a whole bunch of stuff. We got a phonograph and radio combination. That's about the best thing was going in, And they're supposed to give us 4 wool blankets, Max Factor makeup. I don't know, several things like that. But they never did come in with them blankets. That's the only thing we never did get. I don't know why they never did. I believe it was the blankets that we never did get. And they said we was going to, the place we was going was Las Vegas. And so we went home. They said on the program that, boy, we had to get away from there. It's time to catch that plane and go to Las Vegas. But it wasn't so, because it was about 11:30 when it was over with, and we went back, and TC taking us to a drive-in. We had hamburgers and everything, and then he taking us to Los Angeles at the airport. And he decided he better take a shortcut. TC was known for his shortcuts. And he got lost. And we got there in time, but he run out of gas before we got back to the station. He just got out of the airport and run out of gas. And when we got to Las Vegas, why, I'd been working hard, chain link fencing and everything. Sometime to eat, I looked at the menu. I didn't look at the dad blame what it was. I just got the highest price on the menu because they was waiting on us hand and foot. We was a guest of the hotel.
But they set us up at the Last Frontier Hotel in Las Vegas and gave us a week there free, which was very nice. And they sent us on to the Hoover Dam and let us look at the dam. That was one of the highlights. They furnished all the food, everything. So we had a wonderful honeymoon.
Well, it wasn't nothing fun about that airplane. I rode airplanes all the time in the service. That wasn't too exciting. And they had a limousine there to take us up to the hotel, and so I guess the most exciting thing was just getting in the room. Oh, and by the way, they told us they'd give us records of the wedding, but said it'll be metal, so you can't get mad and break it. So you keep it